Hey guys, so Smash is upon us. We're basically one day away here from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate finally being released, and we can all play it. That's going to be amazing. The other thing that's happening very soon, though, is the Video Game Awards. They happen tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. for me. Check your own time zones here. But supposedly, we might be getting some really interesting stuff at the Video Game Awards. There's a lot of times cool announcements and stuff. I believe Breath of the Wild was first shown there. So yeah, it's very possible we'll get some really cool stuff at the Video Game Awards. Now, it's also possible we may get something Smash related. I mean, this is the night before Smash gets released. A lot of places are doing like midnight releases or 9 p.m. releases. So yeah, I mean, this is basically happening alongside the release of Smash, so it makes a lot of sense for them to announce something there. And there's a ton of rumors about different games and possibly something Smash related that we might see at the Video Game Awards floating around right now. Now, I will be talking about some of the leaked and data mined information for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in this video, but I'll give a warning before I start doing that. Okay, so before I jump into like the Nintendo stuff, I just want to talk about this one rumor that's going around right now about Crash Team Racing. So we might be getting something Crash Team Racing at the Video Game Awards. We just got like the Spyro remastered stuff, the Crash remastered stuff, so it'd be really cool if Crash Team Racing either got like a remastered or even maybe like a sequel or something, but there's this rumor that something Crash Team Racing is going to happen at the Video Game Awards, and I'm all for that. It's a really cool game. I'd love to see something done with that. Next up is a kind of strange rumor that Lady Gaga might have something to do with Bayonetta in some form. Possibly Bayonetta 3 for Switch being shown at the Video Game Awards. That would make sense. I guess people have seen like pictures of her in a motion capture suit. She's tweeted some stuff about Bayonetta, and supposedly she's doing some sort of rehearsals at the same convention center that the Video Game Awards are happening in. So totally possible there's going to be something with Lady Gaga and Bayonetta 3. Maybe she's going to play a character in that. Maybe she's going to voice Bayonetta herself. I don't know. She seems to be a fan of the series, and there seems to be some strange stuff going on. So yeah, we might hear about that tomorrow. Now I just want to play this clip of Reggie saying something really interesting about Super Smash Bros. And the Video Game Awards happening so close to each other.
With Reggie, because I said, if he's gonna steal my Game Awards date to launch Smash Brothers, I gotta challenge him.
It's the day before. You're the day before.
December 6th.
I'm the day
at 9 p.m. Pacific. I bet that's when Smash comes out.
So we need to do something special on your show.
Okay, well we'll stay tuned.
We'll see.
What we can do.
So yeah, I think we can expect something big at the Video Game Awards. Whether or not it's Smash related, I don't know, but it was all within that same conversation. Super Smash Bros. Happening close to the Video Game Awards, and kind of stealing the thunder from the Video Game Awards, and Reggie saying, he'll do something special there. So yeah, I don't know. We have 5 DLC characters we're waiting to find out information on. We have Piranha Plant coming in February, so I don't know if they'd want to space it out more than that, but it's also possible they want to push that Fighter Pass. They want people to buy the Fighter Pass as quickly as possible, show us one of those characters the day before the game comes out, right before everybody's going out buying it. Would make a lot of sense. So yeah, we might be getting a character shown at the Video Game Awards. Now, of course, Nintendo has some other big upcoming games that they could talk about at the Video Game Awards. Metroid Prime 4 being probably the biggest one. Also, Animal Crossing. There's a few other things out there that might be like Nintendo's big game they may show off here. But Metroid Prime 4, we've been waiting to see something more on. I think it makes sense for them to do something here. A Swedish website also recently put up a listing for the Metroid Prime trilogy for Switch. So that might have been leaked out a little early, and possible we'll get something about that game coming out to Switch at the Video Game Awards. Moving back over to rumors for Super Smash Bros. At the Video Game Awards, this poster of like a French advertisement for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has been seen, and it has all the characters on it leading up to Piranha Plant, character number 70, and then there's still a missing spot right next to Piranha Plant. It's kind of awkwardly placed. There's just a blank spot there. Now, Box Theory, of course, also had a blank spot. We had the download card that had 2 blank spots. We've called characters before based on advertisements missing a spot. So having this one out that has Piranha Plant and then missing 1 spot, it's very possible that is because we're going to get something at the Game Awards. Maybe we're going to get a character right before the game's revealed, and this ad will be updated to have up to 71 fighters on there, and that's what that's for. Okay, so now I'm going to get into some of the deeper rumors and some stuff about the data mined information. So if you don't want to hear about data mined stuff, you can stop watching now, but it is just going to be data mined spirits and stuff like that. If you're just trying to not see stuff for like World of Light, bosses, modes, things like that, I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I'm just going to talk about data mined spirits and then what leakers have been saying. So yeah, if you feel comfortable with that, you can continue watching. Okay, so we know we're going to get a day one patch for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and people have actually data mined what's in that. And it appears it's just a bunch of bug fixes and 5 spirits. So I'm going to go over the list of 5 spirits that have been data mined. The list has Eevee partner, Pikachu partner, which we knew about. These are supposedly coming from the Let's Go games. You're going to get a Pikachu and Eevee Let's Go spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate if Let's Go is registered on your Switch. Dice, which is from Mario Party, Golden Mushroom, and River Survival, which is also from Mario Party. Okay, so there's 5 more spirits right there that we're supposedly getting. It's possible that we'll get more than that as more games come out. You know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will probably update and give you spirits for future games and stuff. Seems like something they're going to push here, and bodes pretty well for getting more stuff than just what the Fighter Pass has been told to get us. We're being told we're going to get a fighter, a stage, and some music. But if we're getting spirits for different games here, very possible that when those fighters show up, we'll get spirits for them as well. So one character who's missing a spirit from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that we found out within the data mine is Silex. Now Silex is from the Metroid Prime games and Metroid Prime Hunters specifically, and he is probably the most important of the hunters, but he is not in the spirits of the game. He's not one of the spirits. There are some of the other hunters, but he's not one of them. Supposedly he's going to play a really big role in Metroid Prime 4. So yeah, I mean, if we're going to get Metroid Prime 4 shown at the Video Game Awards, something, I'm kind of suspecting we might, it would be a really good time to reveal Silex as one of our DLC fighters to cross-promote that game. Totally possible that's who we're going to get as our DLC fighter shown off at the Video Game Awards. Now, I'm probably going to make a whole video on Silex if he isn't revealed tomorrow, but I do think he makes the most sense based on the data mine spirit information and Metroid Prime 4 being a pretty good candidate for what game might be shown off heavily by Nintendo at the Video Game Awards. However, there's also a bunch of rumors going around about other things we might get, so I'm going to go over some of those now. So quite a while back, Leaky Pandy released this leak that was talking about the Video Game Awards. I'm just going to read it. So Leaky Pandy said, "A few interesting tidbits we heard about this year's Game Awards. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is not eligible for nomination this year, but Nintendo wants it to have a presence at the ceremony. Masahiro Sakurai may be awarded a career award." That would be cool. Good for Sakurai. "And new fighter will debut at the awards." Leaky Pandy went on to say, "It's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's first DLC. The plan is having the reveal ride the hype of the franchise being awarded as best in genre this year." I don't think they mean Smash. I believe what they mean is one of the games that is awarded a best in genre award will be who the character is from. "Marketing is concerned the game will stay just as a nominee due to possible resistance from the jury as a political move against the game." So most people have assumed that if Leaky Pandy's right here, the game is Dragon Quest, as the composer for Dragon Quest is a pretty controversial character due to his political affiliations. We've also had Vergeben's 7 Square characters leaked, and one of the more likely ones is a Dragon Quest character. In fact, out of the 7 characters, 3 of the ones he's heard, Slime, Ederic, and Luminari, are all Dragon Quest characters. So it is possible that we'll get the Square rep shown first, and it will be a Dragon Quest character at the Video Game Awards. There's also just been talk that if we do get one of these DLC fighters shown, it's going to be the Square Enix rep that Vergeben's been talking about for a long time. That's going to be the one that's going to be shown. So very possible it's a Dragon Quest character here. Now, another rumor about the Video Game Awards that happened a while ago was Spawnwave seemed to imply that Sora might be coming to Smash a while ago. Now, this was just like an implied thing. He didn't come out and say it, so don't hold it against him at all if this doesn't happen. It was sort of a sarcastic comment, but I'm just going to read what he said. So someone asked him, "Sora, who is supposed to be revealed at the Game Awards?" And Spawnwave said, "Would people be excited for that?" No, again, that's kind of a sarcastic response. Of course people would be excited for Sora at the Video Game Awards, but who knows if Spawnwave actually knew anything about that or if he was just making a joke here. Sora is one of the names that Vergeben heard, though it is the one name out of the 7 that Vergeben heard as definitely not happening. Just to go over them again, Polar Panda heard the 7 names, and I actually heard the 7 names myself, but kept them to myself. But Polar Panda decided to come out and release them a little while ago, so I'll just go over what those 7 names are if you're not up to date. 3 of them are Dragon Quest. It's Slime, Ederic, and Luminari, Chrono from Chrono Trigger, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy, and then Vergeben was told Geno, but probably not Geno, don't take that one too seriously, and then Sora, but that it wasn't going to be Sora. So those are the 7 Square Enix candidates that Vergeben has supposedly been told if we're getting a Square Enix rep. Now, Polar Panda supposedly has a Nintendo ambassador source that told him it was Geno, or at least that Geno is who Nintendo of America's staff is kind of whispering about, thinking that that's who the Square Enix rep is. Obviously, we have 7 names floating around. It's possible Square is giving different names to different places to try to, smoke screen which character it actually is. So even if Polar Panda is hearing Geno, it's possible that's not the actual one. But it's also possible that Vergeben's hearing, oh yeah, it's more likely Dragon Quest or Chrono or Sephiroth, and that's not true. Maybe it is Geno. So I don't know which one it actually is, but Polar Panda is seemingly leaning towards Geno, whereas Vergeben and Hitagi a little bit has come out and said stuff about Dragon Quest, Chrono seeming more likely, and Sephiroth also seems more likely than Geno and Sora. Also, don't get Polar Panda confused with Leaky Pandy. Leaky Pandy is the one saying that there might be some sort of Dragon Quest rep at the Video Game Awards, whereas Polar Panda was the one who leaked the 7 Square characters that Vergeben heard and has a Nintendo ambassador source who believes Geno is in the game, or that at least Nintendo is talking about Geno being possibly the Square rep, or possibly a DLC rep at all if we get a Square rep. Now I'm going to start talking about the possible Minecraft content that's going on here. Vergeben has publicly stated he believes the Minecraft content is a boss. So I'm going to start talking about the data mined boss information. So if you don't want to hear about that, stop watching now. So Hitagi has been saying that Steve is going to be a playable character, that Steve is a Minecraft rep. Vergeben, however, has just been saying Minecraft content, though he backs up Hitagi as possibly having real information, kind of sharing information with Hitagi. So I don't think Vergeben's totally not on board with Steve being a playable character. I just think he's more cautious about leaking that until he's 100% sure. But what Vergeben has said is that the Minecraft content is a boss. Now, from the data mine, we know all the bosses, and there is no Minecraft boss. So I don't know what's going on here. Is there going to be boss DLC? That's a possibility. Maybe when a character comes in, maybe some of them will get a new boss, and maybe Steve will come in and get, a Minecraft boss alongside with him. Now, there's another leaker out there called ZenOther, who I've spoken to before. I've spoken to Polar Panda, I've spoken to ZenOther. I've not directly talked to Hitagi or Vergeben. But I've talked to ZenOther, and ZenOther recently came out and said that Steve is a playable character. They're saying, pretty much the same thing Hitagi's saying, that Steve is definitely playable. But ZenOther gave a little bit more information on why they think Steve is playable. Just a little background info on ZenOther before I read what he said about Steve. He's talked to Vergeben. They're basically Vergeben, Hitagi, ZenOther, and now Polar Panda at least has talked to ZenOther. They're kind of sharing information behind the scenes and seemingly trying to figure out this DLC together. So I don't know if they're all getting information from similar sources and it's just echoing off each other, or if they all have their own separate sources and this is pointing to what we're going to get for DLC. I really don't know if their information is true or not. There's obviously a little bit of discrepancy between them. ZenOther and Hitagi seem to be saying Steve's playable. A lot of them seem to think that there is going to be a Square Enix rep. Polar Panda is saying he thinks it's Geno, whereas it appears the rest of them think it's probably not Geno. None of them think it's Sora, but most think it's a Dragon Quest rep, Chrono, or Sephiroth. So yeah, it's a little confusing right now, but basically it's a couple of people sharing leaked information trying to figure this out. So let me read what ZenOther had to say about Steve being a playable character. So ZenOther recently posted, I can tell you that there was a test build of the game with Steve in it dating back to late August. Over the past couple days, I've had 2 more people come forward and share this information with me, and it lines up perfectly with what I have heard and the timeline that others came to hear about Steve's inclusion. I'm not sure how far along Steve is at this point, but from what I've been told, he was nowhere near being finished in August. So now, like I said, I have talked to ZenOther before, but I don't know whether or not their information is real or not. There's definitely a big part of me that's thinking nobody knows the DLC stuff for sure right now, but I still think this stuff is worth looking at. So I also want to point out something that Bill Trinan said a little while back regarding DLC. So Bill Trinan said this quote about DLC in regards to Smash Brothers. He said, "The thing about us, when it comes to something like DLC, we don't really start on it until we have got the game done." Now, it's totally possible that was just PR talk, and that was just Bill Trinan kind of deflecting, giving a direct answer about DLC at that point. But it's also possible that they really don't work on DLC until the game is totally finished. It does make sense. But it's also possible that the game went gold maybe earlier than we thought, or they're basically finished with it. Maybe the character creation department is finished and they're starting the DLC characters. That might have happened as early as August, which could line up with what ZenOther's saying. Now, we do know Piranha Plant's pretty far along, and there's been some leaks saying that, there was like a debug mode with Piranha Plant in it right before the game, but right before that was announced, before like November 1st. So yeah, Obviously, they were working on Piranha Plant. I don't know if that counts as like a DLC fighter, if that was always planned as, you know, an extra fighter. I do have the suspicion that DLC was probably always something they were going to do. So I don't really know what to make of this, but it does conflict a little bit with what Zen Other's saying if you look at it from a direct perspective. But it is also possible with some wiggle room that, yeah, they were finished enough with the game and they were starting on DLC characters like Steve, if that's happening. So if the information that Vergeben seems to be talking about, some of these other leakers are talking about, Hitagi, Polar Panda, and Zen Other, it's possible that our first DLC rep is either a Square Enix rep or the Microsoft rep, most likely Steve from Minecraft. That seems to be where they're going. There's also another possible Microsoft rep that we could be getting here at the Video Game Awards. That character, of course, is Banjo-Kazooie. Phil Spencer said he'd be okay with Banjo-Kazooie being in Smash. Banjo-Kazooie's really requested by fans, probably did very well on the ballot, and you know, I had a source that told me they had a Microsoft source that said Banjo. I'm not sure how much I trust that Microsoft source at this point, but there is some pretty good evidence towards Banjo beyond that. The recent data mine for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate showed two spirit characters that seem to be wiped from the game but are still in the data from Jet Force Gemini and Blast Corps, both of which are Rare games. So that means that Rare at some point here seems to have been on board with Smash. The fact that we're getting spirits added to the data for like Pokemon Let's Go and possibly Mario Party means that spirits showing up alongside characters is a very real possibility here. So getting like Jet Force Gemini and Blast Corps, possibly more Rare games added to the spirits when Banjo-Kazooie gets added to the game makes a lot of sense. As far as Minecraft content goes, there's no real hard evidence within Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We just have some fairly credible leakers talking about it, like Vergeben. However, Banjo-Kazooie actually has something physically in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate we can point to, which is rare spirits in the data. So it's possible we'll get Banjo-Kazooie. This is the 20th anniversary of Banjo-Kazooie, and really nothing has happened with them, so it's possible they've been saving it all this time for the Video Game Awards. That would be a super hype reveal. I think a lot of people would go nuts over that. Of course, that's not to say that Minecraft stuff couldn't come along with Banjo-Kazooie. It's possible you could get like a stage with them, music, possibly spirits of Minecraft characters. Who knows? It seems that others saying specifically that Steve was in some sort of playable build. Hitagi seems very firm on Steve is playable. But Vergeben, who's really the most trusted Smash leaker, has only said it's a Minecraft boss, which could totally get added alongside a different Microsoft rep such as Banjo-Kazooie. And that would make those rare spirits in the data make a lot more sense. So whether or not we get anybody at the Game Awards for Smash revealed tomorrow, I don't know. It does make sense to me, though. It would be a good time to hype the DLC and get people buying that fighter pass. The most likely candidates, in my opinion, seem to be Silex. If they want to promote Metroid Prime 4, if Nintendo's really pushing that, be a good time to reveal him. It's also possible we get the Square Enix rep. It does seem like the Square Enix character is supposedly going to be the first one to be shown off, and that could be any of those 7. Slime, Ederic, Luminari, Chrono, Sephiroth, Geno, or Sora. All totally possible. All have different leakers kind of talking about them. And then there's the possibility of getting a Minecraft rep. We could get Steve, and that makes sense. There's cross-play between Nintendo and Microsoft. The Video Game Awards is somewhere where, Microsoft and Nintendo are both there. The same token, of course, Square and Nintendo are at the Video Game Awards, so it would make sense to do the Square character there. And then it's also possible that the Microsoft rep isn't a Minecraft character at all. It's Banjo-Kazooie, and maybe there's some Minecraft stuff with Banjo, or maybe there's no Minecraft stuff at all. I don't know. Maybe all that's fake. I have no idea. I haven't seen any myself. So it's kind of up in the air right now. We could get nothing Smash related. I do feel like Nintendo will at least acknowledge Smash in some way, but it's possible we don't get any new characters or anything, but it's also possible we do. So I will be watching the Video Game Awards. I may try to stream it. I might not, though, just because it's going to be a really busy day running to go get Smash afterwards and everything. So I might just film myself watching the Video Game Awards, and then I'll put it up a little while after that. So if something big happens, yes, I will film myself. So don't worry. If something like Geno gets revealed, I will be filming it. I won't miss that. Feel free to leave a comment below and let me know if you think any of the characters I've talked about here have a realistic shot of being shown as a DLC fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at the Video Game Awards. Also, if there's any other characters that I didn't mention, feel free to let me know there too and why you think so. I'd love to read comments like that. Also, if you're excited for any other games I've mentioned or games I didn't mention that might get shown off at the Video Game Awards, once again, leave a comment. I'd love to read it. So tomorrow night, we're pretty much going to get Smash. I think most of us are probably going to a midnight release of some kind and playing it, so super excited about that. I will post a video tomorrow just about getting pumped and hyped and excited for Smash. So there'll be at least one more video before Smash is out that I'll put out tomorrow afternoon probably. And of course, like I said, I'll be videotaping myself watching the Video Game Awards, so that will come out tomorrow. And then after that, we have videos to come that actually have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate content, so that'll be fun. Can't wait to do that, you guys, and see you next time. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. Really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.